When we reach our golden years, everything changes, not just our bodies, but the world around us. Friends, family, neighbors, many of the people we've shared life with quietly begin to fade away. And while most of us imagine that decline happens suddenly, the truth is far gentler and far more subtle. I've spent decades observing older adults, and I can say with certainty, the final chapter rarely arrives as a shock. It sneaks in slowly, almost unnoticed by those closest to them. Yesterday, I visited the granddaughter of a dear patient, and she whispered, "Grandma seems different. She's not herself, but she's just aging, right?" I looked at her and realized she wasn't alone in thinking this. Many families confuse natural aging with signals our elders are quietly giving us. There are 5 distinct signs your loved one's body and mind may be preparing for the last year of life. These signs are whispers, subtle messages you can respond to with care, understanding, and presence. Watch carefully, because one of these signs hit me unexpectedly in my own family, and I regret not noticing it sooner. By learning to recognize them, you can truly be there for your loved one in the ways that matter most. The first sign to pay attention to is rapid, unexplained weight loss. This isn't about dieting or healthy weight management. It's different. If the older adult in your life suddenly loses weight, if their clothes hang looser, belts need tightening, or meals seem less appealing, it may be a signal that the body is struggling. As we age, digestion becomes less efficient. Muscle mass decreases. Our bodies have a harder time absorbing nutrients, particularly protein. When weight starts to fall quickly, it's a message. Your loved one's body is conserving energy because it's running low. Families often respond by preparing favorite meals, soups, or high-protein shakes. But if the weight keeps dropping despite these efforts, the focus should shift. This is no longer about feeding. It's about offering gentle sustenance, warmth, hydration, and comfort. The body isn't asking for fuel at this stage, it's asking for peace. The earlier we recognize this, the earlier we can respond with compassion instead of frustration. The second sign is fatigue that doesn't improve with rest. Feeling tired is normal at any age, but this is a different kind of tiredness. It's profound, all-encompassing, and it doesn't vanish after a long night's sleep or a quiet afternoon. If an older adult struggles to get out of bed, tires after a few steps, or loses interest in hobbies they once loved, like knitting, reading, or taking walks, this is a significant signal. It's not laziness or a lack of motivation. It's the body's way of saying, I need to conserve energy for what truly matters. At this stage, circulation slows, muscles receive less oxygen, and the organs begin to prioritize essential functions. Even breathing may become shallower. You may notice increased daytime napping, long pauses in conversation, or withdrawal from social activities. This is a request, not a complaint. The most helpful response is not insisting they do more, but providing quiet companionship. Sit nearby, reduce noise and distractions, and allow them the rest they need. The third sign is changes in thinking, memory, or awareness. Many families notice this last, thinking forgetfulness is simply part of aging. But subtle cognitive changes, repeated questions, losing track of dates, or struggling to follow simple conversations, signal that the brain is slowing. As blood flow and oxygen to the brain decrease, clarity fades. A person may forget names, mix up familiar locations, or fail to recognize someone they know well. They may appear distant or silent, lost in thought, or retreat from interaction altogether. This is not a loss of interest. It's the brain conserving energy, focusing on the essentials. Instead of pushing for engagement, meet them where they are. Simple acknowledgement, a gentle touch, or a quiet presence can provide more comfort than words ever could. The fourth sign is subtle emotional withdrawal. You might notice your loved one becomes quieter, smiles less, or seems indifferent to things that once excited them. They may avoid social gatherings, stop initiating conversation, or drift into long periods of reflection. This withdrawal isn't depression or a lack of love. It's the mind slowly turning inward, focusing on the core essence of life: rest, peace, and inner comfort. At this stage, it's vital to approach them gently. Offer companionship without pressure. Sit with them, even in silence. Let them dictate the pace of connection. What's most meaningful is your presence, not your activity. Sometimes, just sitting nearby, holding their hand, or listening quietly conveys more love than any conversation could. The fifth, and perhaps most apparent sign, is physical weakening. This goes beyond normal aging. It's noticeable in balance, coordination, and stamina. Walking becomes slower, movements less confident. Everyday tasks, dressing, bathing, or climbing stairs, become taxing. These changes are the body's way of signaling limits. The muscles and joints are no longer able to sustain the demands of daily life. Blood flow is slower, and energy is carefully rationed for vital organs. At this stage, the focus should be on safety and comfort. Provide supportive seating, non-slip surfaces, and opportunities for gentle movement if desired. But the key is respect. Let the body dictate its pace and offer care without insisting on independence. All five of these signs, weight loss, persistent fatigue, cognitive shifts, emotional withdrawal, and physical weakening, are subtle messages from the body and mind. They're whispers, not cries. They're not about punishment, limitation, or failure. They are an invitation for families to witness, honor, and accompany their loved one with patience and love. Being attuned to these signs allows us to respond appropriately, offering care that prioritizes comfort, dignity, and presence. It's easy to overlook these signals, dismissing them as normal aging. But paying attention can make the final chapter less lonely and more peaceful. You don't have to fix everything. You simply need to be there, attuned, and compassionate. I've seen countless examples in my work. One former teacher I cared for stopped reading his newspaper. His daughter worried he had lost interest in the world. But the truth was simpler. Focusing energy on reading had become too demanding. His mind was conserving strength for the essentials, breathing, staying warm, and simply being. Another patient became quieter over the months. Friends assumed she was depressed, but she wasn't sad. She was retreating inward, letting go of the noise and demands of life. Families sometimes misunderstand this, thinking engagement must be forced. But the real gift is gentle companionship, meeting them where they are. These experiences teach us that understanding the subtle signs of late life is not just about anticipating loss. It's about enriching the time we have left together. Here are a few practical ways to respond when you notice these signs. Offer gentle nutrition, focusing on comfort foods, hydration, and small, easy-to-digest meals rather than forcing large portions. Prioritize rest, creating a quiet, calm environment that encourages peace and relaxation. Adjust expectations. Accept that slower movement, reduced activity, and mental withdrawal are natural, and provide support without judgment. Be present. Even silent companionship is meaningful. Observe changes. Keep track of subtle shifts in weight, mood, energy, and cognition to anticipate needs. Remember, these changes are messages, not complaints. Responding with empathy and understanding allows the person to live their final year with dignity, peace, and warmth. Life in the later years is a delicate dance between independence and support, activity and rest, presence and withdrawal. The final year of life may be gentle, quiet, and subtle, but it is still rich with meaning. By noticing the 5 signs, rapid weight loss, persistent fatigue, cognitive shifts, emotional withdrawal, and physical weakening, we gain the tools to respond thoughtfully. We can honor the lives of those we love, creating a space where they feel seen, respected, and cherished until the very end. It's not about preventing the inevitable. It's about enhancing the journey, offering compassion, and being truly present. So, if you notice any of these signs, pause, observe, and respond with care. Sometimes, the most profound support is simply being there, without words, without pressure, just presence. That is elder wisdom in action. If this video spoke to you, please consider sharing it with anyone caring for an elderly loved one. Awareness is the first step toward meaningful support. And remember, being present, patient, and compassionate is the greatest gift you can offer in life's final chapter. Thank you for watching, and may we all find the wisdom to honor and cherish those we love in their twilight years.